Welcome back. You've already taken the Chapter 2 test, I imagine, as you're watching this. We are starting Chapter 3, but before we start the chapter, I do want to introduce the fact that there will be a project that you'll be working for in this class. That probably scared you a little bit. If you were anything like me in high school, I was not a fan of projects. But considering the environment that we're in right now, it's going to look a little different than it normally would. I do always assign this project every semester I teach this class. It will look a little different this semester, but it's mostly the same. Let's talk about it. You probably got to this video from Canvas, and that is here, but it's this PDF that we'll be talking about. Yes, Kat, you have something to say? Anyway, let's talk about the project a little bit here. You're so annoying. Go away. Okay. So, the project that you'll be working on for the next few weeks is based on the first two sections of Chapter 3 that we're going to be talking about as well. As you're working through the project, we're going to have some lecture videos on these sections, so you will have some videos to watch over this material. You will have homework still in these sections. You'll be working on this project in the background as we go. So the point is you're going to be creating your own sample and figuring out quite a few things about it. But the cool thing is you get to choose what your data is. So if there's a relationship that you want to explore and see if those two things are related and how so, you get to choose. So let's see here. You need to collect data on two variables that you think are related in some way. And those variables both have to be quantitative, right? They have to be numeric. So I've had people try and be like, well, one of my variables is what's someone's favorite color. And I immediately have to be like, well, you can't do that because it's going to be kind of hard to find the average favorite color of people. And you will need to find the average among other things for your variables. So they have to be numeric. They must be quantitative variables, two of them. And this can be a relationship that's proven somehow or something that you just want to explore. Are these two things related? Okay. You need to figure out what variables you want to look at and who your population is pretty early on in the project. Obviously, you need to know what you want your data to be before you can collect it and analyze it. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Many of the details of this project, I'll go into greater detail as we're working through it. Here at the beginning, I guess it's important for you to know you're going to need at least 25 data points. So let's say, for instance, you want to look at the number of yards and the number of touchdowns that NFL quarterbacks had last year. That's your data set. Those are your two variables. You would need to get those values for at least 25 different quarterbacks. So you'd have a data set of 25 different numbers of yards and 25 different numbers of touchdowns. Okay. So for a better grade, you would need even more. That's at the rubric at the end. I'll show you that when we're finished here. You have an option, technically, of how you want to get your data. You can gather your data from the internet. That is what I'm going to recommend this semester. Get your data from the internet, unless you can get it in person in a way that's safe and convenient for you. If you get your data from the internet or some other outside source, data that already exists, you have to justify why your source is the gold standard. You can't just get your data from Twitter or Instagram or some silly place that isn't who actually got the data. You need to go to the source. And you'll need to report to me where you got your data from, and I will be able to determine whether that's the gold standard or not. If you know you want to get your data from the internet, but you're not sure where to find it, or if you don't even know what you want to look at, I will talk about how I can help you with that. I've been doing this project every semester for the last 2 years. Yes, this will be my third year doing it, so I've done this 4 times. Actually, I did it student teaching. I've done this 6 times. Every single student has found something to do their project on. So everyone has been able to do it, and I think most people really enjoyed it. So if you think that it's not possible for you to come up with something, I think it will. It'll be possible. If you want to collect the data yourself, and it doesn't have to be in person, it can be like through a Google form or something. So it doesn't have to be like face-to-face contact. But due to the pandemic, I am discouraging this. Unless there's a way to take a sample that doesn't increase the risk of you transmitting or contracting the virus, don't do it. In the past, this has been a very viable way of doing it, especially since we're not at school. It's going to be much more difficult to do this. That being said, I did have a student last year who was a cashier at a grocery store, and he was able to take a systematic sample of the people who went through their line. And that was perfectly fine because they were in that situation anyway. It didn't really increase the risk of anything, right? So if you have an essential job like that and you can do that, that's perfectly fine. But to go out for the purposes of this project and talk to people, I don't want that. Please don't do that. If you choose to do this, no one at ACS is responsible for anything that might happen. That's your decision. And I'm discouraging it personally. Now, the important stuff. Early on, you will need to schedule a Zoom meeting with me, whether you know exactly what you want to do or whether you have no idea. You need to discuss with me what you want to do for your project. You need to schedule this meeting sometime before 2:30 p.m. on Monday, September 14th. So the day that this is supposed to be live is September 10th. You need to schedule the meeting before the end of the school day on Monday the 14th. You need to schedule it by then. And the meeting must take place before Friday, September 18th at 2:30. So if you don't schedule a meeting with me, that's really dangerous. Because, first of all, you're going to get points docked from your project. And second of all, you may well have an idea that is not going to work. And if you don't figure that out until it's too late, you're going to be screwed. So, I am requiring you to Zoom with me shortly. There'll be short meetings to figure out either for me to okay what you want to do for the project, to help you out if you have an idea but you're not sure how to do it, or even if you have no clue, I can give you some places to start. Right? You can sign up using this Google Sheet. The link is right here in the document, and it's also here. Well, no, it's here. It's the Zoom meeting sign up. There you go. And it is this spreadsheet. So you can see the dates from the 10th, the date that this is assigned, this video, until the end of next week, the 18th. And I'm available anytime between 8 all the way to from 1:45 to 2. These are 15-minute increments. I figure for most people, it's not going to take more than 15 minutes to either okay what you want to do, to help you out, or to give you some ideas. If you need multiple meetings with me to really nail something down, that's fine. You can sign up more than once. What I would recommend, if you're someone that has no clue what you want to do, schedule for the first maybe 2 or 3 days. That way you've got time to think and try and gather your data. And if you come across any other issues, you can schedule another meeting later in that week. If you don't schedule a meeting until Friday the 18th, and it turns out you have some issues, you're going to start missing deadlines. And that could be really bad. So if you have no clue, schedule a meeting early. Even if you're pretty confident with what you want to do and the fact that you can do it, you can afford maybe to schedule a little later, but earlier is probably better, right? I've got plenty of slots here. There are fewer than 40 students taking this class right now, so there are plenty of sign-in slots every day for people. If someone is signed up for a spot, everyone has access to the spreadsheet. Please don't mess with anyone else's appointment slot. Just find one that's not currently taken and sign up there. Just put your name in the cell that matches the date and time that you need. Right? So you can use that. And once your meeting date and time come up and you're ready to do the Zoom meeting, you can go to This link here on Thursday, September 10th thing, this is also the same link as my regular virtual office hours, which is on the course homepage here. It's the same link. It will take you to that meeting. And we will Zoom from there. So, I don't particularly enjoy Zoom meetings. They can be kind of awkward. I understand that, and that's why I don't mandate class on Zoom, but it's really necessary to have that face-to-face communication and make sure that you're squared away at the beginning of this project, because the last thing I want is for you to do this project poorly or not at all because you didn't have an opportunity to figure out what you were doing. Okay. In regular situations with school, I still meet with every student individually. It's just Zoom is the only way to do that now. So make sure you schedule that meeting soon, especially if you're not sure what you're going to be doing. A lot of these details have to do with what you're going to be doing in the project. This is what we're going to be talking about in class. You're going to need to calculate all of these statistics for your two variables, your two data sets. You'll create a scatter plot, and I will show you how to do that. I will make a video telling you step by step how to do that for your data values. And you will need to make a presentation on Google Slides. If you're an introvert and you hate presentations, this being e-learning is a real good thing for you, because I usually have people present in front of the class. But this presentation, only I will see it. Okay, so there you go. You will need to include the following. So you're essentially going to make a slideshow in Google Slides. It needs to include the work that you have. Okay, and we'll talk more about that the further on we go in the project. For maximum points, your slideshow has to have clear attention given to presentation. You need to make it look nice. Right? I can tell what's just been slapped together at the last minute versus what people actually took a little bit of time on. And I'm not saying you need to slave over this for dozens of hours, but I mean, if you don't have the time, you don't have the time. But maybe that's a C project then, you know? I don't think this is going to be asking too much of you. It's spread out over like 3 or 4 weeks. You've got plenty of time to do this. You'll also need to make a video of you presenting it. So just giving me the slideshow isn't good enough. You need to present that. And if you need help on how to do that, I will also make a video on how to use Screencastify to share your Google Slides presentation while you are presenting it. Okay, so don't worry about that. If you have questions about how that works, I'll make the video. I can answer your questions. We'll get it sorted out, don't worry. I don't want it to be very long, no more than 5 minutes. This is not a super long presentation. You'll need to just describe what you've done in the project. Not a huge deal. These are the due dates for everything, and it says the dates are subject to change. They may be pushed back. For this semester, I'm pretty sure these dates are going to stay this way. In real life, like when students are in the room, I never know exactly how long lessons are going to take. I've pretty much planned out everything until fall break for this semester. It's going to be these dates. So on the 14th, that's Monday, you need to know what your individuals are, how you're going to collect the data. During the course of the week of this 14th to 18th week, you're going to be meeting with me via Zoom. So I will use that as the checklist for that due date. So that might not be the 14th exactly. It might be sometime later that week. But by the end of that week, you need to have your data. So if you're not meeting with me on Zoom until the 18th, you better know what you're doing by then and just be getting the okay from me, because your data is due on the 18th and you will have to submit your data into Canvas by this date or it's late. The Group 1 and Group 2 statistics, that is these things here, and those will not be due until we talk about them in class. So you'll get those lecture videos, you'll have time to work through the homework for those sections, and then these things will be due. So these are both Mondays, the 21st and the 28th. And then the presentations will be due on the 2nd of October. So this is all going to be done before fall break. You will have days during this project lifecycle just specifically to work on the project. You only actually have like, I think 4 lecture videos between the beginning and end of this project. Sections 1 and 2 of the textbook are only going to be like 2 days each. So most of the days in this time period are going to be you working on your project. So I expect you to have enough time to do it. I expect things to be turned in on time, and I expect it to be good work, because I'm giving you quite a long time just to work on the project here. Again, you're going to be meeting with me on Zoom early on. We're going to hammer things out so that you know you're on the right track. As you work through the project, you'll get guidance from me. You can ask questions. We can Zoom at any time during the project. If you feel like you need to talk to me, that's perfectly fine. I appreciate it. I will talk with you. And I will grade the project when it's all done using this rubric. You don't have to look at the rubric if you don't want to, but if you do and you understand what this rubric is saying, you will know effectively what grade you're going to get on the project before you even turn it in. I will say, to get excellent in any of these categories is going to be difficult. You're going to have to put some time into this project to get excellent in things. I don't think I've ever given 100% on this project, because everyone misses something. If you are looking for an A+ on this project, you're going to have to put in a lot of time. You're going to have to be in communication with me often to make sure you've got everything in it that you need. It's not going to be easy. That being said, to be basic in every category is not that bad. It won't take that long, and it still gives you like a C. So if that's all you're looking for on this project, you can just be basic in everything. That's just the minimum requirement. You'll get a C, and you can move on. Proficient, if you get all proficients, that would be a B to an A. And that requires going a little bit above the minimum requirement. So it really depends on what you want to get out of this project, what you need to put in. If you want an A, it's going to take some work. If you want a B, you're still going to have to go above and beyond a little bit. Basic is a C. If that's what you want, great. No one should get below a C on this project. If you're below expectations in anything, that's not good. That's not what we're going for. You should be aiming for at least basic in every category here. So that's the project. That's everything you're going to need to do. Again, sign up for a Zoom meeting at some point during this period here. I would encourage maybe in the first 3 days or so. That way you've got time to figure out what you're going to be doing and to get your data in by the 18th of Friday. The only reason I even have dates and times available at the end of next week is so people can check back in a second time to make sure everything is fine, or if they come across any issues, right? So sign up for a meeting. That's actually all you're going to be expected to do tomorrow as well. So if you look at the 11th, you're just signing up for the meeting, thinking about what you're doing for your project. We're not even starting lectures in section 1 yet. So you've got plenty of time. Sign up for a meeting, talk with me. We'll see how you're going to do this, and I'll help you out if you need it. So that's enough for this video. Go start your project, and we'll see you soon.